All right, guys, we are back here doing another live stream, another video. Um, Starting it out, let's talk about the Liverpool game. All right. First off, I want to say thank you to all the new subs. We are past 60 now, which the goal was 50. So, W from you guys. Appreciate it. Subs and views are up on the channel, and very cool. So much appreciated. Like and a comment, new subs if anybody's new, always appreciated as well. Anyway, onto the Liverpool game. I am pulling this up here. So it was kind of an unfortunate game, I would say, because all in all, I don't personally think we played terrible. I don't think we were amazing. I think we were what we were. I don't know. We were fine, I guess. Liverpool, to be honest, didn't create a whole lot in my mind. That's how I felt about it. Maybe that's incorrect, but it felt like to me they did not create a whole lot. City, on the counter scale of that, basically created nothing, which obviously is not good enough to get a result, to get a win. Bright spots, Doku had a pretty good game, I would say, even if most of the dribbling he did was basically for naught because he cooked Trent, and I talked about it in my watch along a lot. He gets by Trent so easily, and then he's kind of in that area where he's gotta make a decision. He's gotta try to find someone, and there's just no one in the box, or there's just Foden in the box, and it's like Van Dijk and Kanate are there. I mean, there's no space to get anyone the ball. Doku seemingly likes to go near post with these crosses, and we don't have people making those near post runs. Foden being the false nine that he was. I mean, from my understanding of how that works, you need your two attacking midfielders, or Marmoush and Kev in this scenario, kind of crashing into the box, and I don't know. I just didn't see a whole lot of that. Unfortunately, I don't think that the system worked. It was interesting how we got to play without Holland. Maybe it'd just be a lot better with Holland there. But for my liking, didn't really work. You want that crashing attacking midfielder like Gundogan used to do back when he was still able to play high level football, and that was not the case yesterday. So anyway, I'll pull up the stats here so you guys can have a look. This is FOTMob, their player ratings. Basically, no one for City had a green performance score bar Vardiol, who's always, in that 7-8 range, always phenomenal. Doku, who I said had, I think, 15 dribbles in one game. It was 12 or 15. I saw it on Twitter earlier, and I was, that's great, of course. Like I said, great, but we need end product, and, that's not all on him. He's got to have someone to find in the box, which he did not really. And Kusanov, what a guy, man. I mean, he got basically annihilated by everyone online for his first 5-10 minutes at the Chelsea game. And since that moment, dude's been kind of one of our better center backs. Dude's been playing at right back against Madrid. I thought he did pretty well. I just think he's doing a really good job in this role that he's finding himself in. He's, 20 years old or so, doesn't speak in English, and it seems like I love him. I love watching the guy play. Big up, Luke. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, 60 subs kind of came out of nowhere. I was looking for 50 going into my watch along yesterday, and I left with 60. So, W to my fellow City fans in the chat, of course. But yeah, and then you have Nico right in front of the back line, and he did a pretty good job. He had a tough job, though. You got Marmoush, you got KDB there, and that midfield trio just doesn't. It didn't really work for me. I was happy to not see Gundo and Bernardo there. And then, Nico gets some help with Vardiol and Rico coming into the midfield a bit, and we got that 2-3 build up. But for me, it wasn't good enough. Didn't work. And maybe that's because we don't have Diaz, we don't have Holland, we don't have Rodri, and it was always going to be tough no matter how anything sort of played out. And I guess I can accept that. I didn't go into the game big on confidence. I wasn't, full chest saying we were going to win. I thought we had a chance to win. I thought we had a chance to, get a draw. So basically creating nothing. That's probably my most disappointing part of the game. Defensively, I thought we were pretty solid. Liverpool get a lucky deflected goal, and the second goal was nice, and they get an offside goal that's overturned on VAR. Same with us. Marmoush got to stay onside, of course, on his opportunity, which does seem like there might be somewhat of an issue there. He's been offsides. I think he scored 2 offsides goals already for us, and I can't think of when Holland strays offside. It's just not something that maybe Holland is offside proof. He understands it a lot better than most forwards do, but Marmoush definitely has something to work on there. Elsewhere, if you look at the stats, and this is what I was talking about in my watch along, the game stats were not the stats of a 2-0 thumping. It was close. We had 16 shots to their 8. XG is basically the same. We have more shots on target. They only create one big chance. We have 600 passes to their 268. I mean, seemingly by the stats, City at least deserve a draw, if not a win here, based on this. But we didn't create enough. None of these, 0 big chances. It's a tough one to figure out how we move forward with that. But it is what it is. We are still in top 4. We are still in a great spot for Champions League. I'll pull the table up here. We're never catching Liverpool anyway. We all know it. Title's been over for 2 months now, and the only competition we really have for these top 4 spots is Forest, who seem to be on a little bit of a downward form. They've got 3 losses in their last 4. Newcastle, very hit or miss. We slapped them up 4-0, and then they go and have a nice win on the weekend. So again, hit or miss. I don't really see Bournemouth challenging for these spots. I imagine it'll be maybe Chelsea or Villa doing that. Bournemouth are, of course, a good side, but it's just hard in my mind to see Bournemouth sitting in 5th at the end of the season. Maybe that's big club bias or whatnot, but I just don't see it personally. I do think Chelsea have an opportunity to pick up some wins over the next bit here, but again, really poor form from them with 3 losses in their last 4. Surely that picks up. They've got too many good players for that to continue. Anyway, elsewhere for City, of course, next game, we just move on. We have Tottenham Wednesday. I'll be putting a preview up for that. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. I'm not sure just yet. But another opportunity, another chance for 3 points and just get closer to finally getting toward the end of this horrible season and in securing our top 4. Saturday, we go to the FA Cup. Hopefully, we see Echeverri, who is in Manchester now, will be training with the team. Apparently, that's going to be on Thursday. Is what the reports I saw this morning, what they said. So there's a lot to look forward to, guys. It's brutal that we have this back-to-back loss on our fixture sheet. And something I like to think about is, whenever your team loses and it's kind of embarrassing a bit, you kind of think, how are we ever going to get ourselves out of this? How are we ever going to win again? And when we're winning, it's the exact opposite. We may never lose again. We are a phenomenal team. We are so good. You can't get too high. You can't get too low. And it's not that I'm lowering my standards for City. It's more so accepting that this is who we are this season. We're a team that's fighting for the top 4 for Champions League and for the FA Cup. And while, of course, next season I want to push for Champions League and push for a Prem title, it's not where we are this year. So a loss to Liverpool. We're still in top 4. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm all right. I'll be fine. And I think that's maybe how most people do. I don't want to get into that group of fans that's like, we're shambolic this year. Pep's got to go. And it's like, guys, he's won 6 Prems in 7 years. He's won 4 in a row. He's won the treble. He got 100 points for us. And I'm not sitting here living in the past like United fans do, and it's like, oh, we're the biggest club in the country because 25 years ago we were really good. You know what I mean? This is recent history. We lifted the Premier League trophy like 9 months ago, guys. We're not that far away. Pep has surely built enough credit in the bank to have a bad season where, we take our bumps, we take our bruises, and we move on. And then in the summer, we rebuild. We build the squad out, we buy some new players, and if next season it's, the same thing, then, fine. We can have a conversation and figure out what needs to be done. But there's so many mitigating factors here. There's Rodri, best player in the world, basically hasn't played all season, tore his ACL in whatever his first, second game back. I mean, any team's going to suffer. KDB is aging. We have the old midfield. We all know about all the problems. Our back line has basically never been the same throughout the whole season. There's so many factors that make me think saying Pep's got to go, he can't adapt, the game has moved past him is just crazy. So that's my mini rant there. But anyway, other positive news. I will switch over to some Twitter reports that I have seen this morning. Of course, huge tweets this morning. Man City remain in contact with Andrea Cambiasso, kind of as we all maybe assumed and thought that was probably the case, as well as a couple other names that haven't been mentioned, at least from what I've seen in quite a while. Samuel Ricci would be kind of an all-around, maybe 8-6 kind of hybrid player. Probably fits the role of, we're not going to spend Bruno G money on him, but he's one of the squad players that would probably be needed if we see the big clear out that we're probably maybe expecting at this point. And then you see Usman Diamande from Sporting, another interesting link from the Portuguese league. I've heard good things about him. I'm not going to sit here and act like I watch the Portuguese league or have anything, positive and technical to say about Diamande himself, but young center back, Portuguese league, I'm sure Hugo Viana is going to have a great scouting report on him and know if he's the one for us or not. There's also links to Diogo Costa as a goalkeeper, which he's actually someone who I have seen quite a bit. I watch Portugal when they're on, and he's always, to me, seemed like a pretty good keeper. I remember, I think it was in the Euros, he was kind of making a name for himself for all the saves he was making with penalties, which is obviously something that we're not used to. I don't know that Ederson has ever saved a penalty. Maybe one, but that would be a welcome change. Hopefully he's good with his feet. I'm sure he's not quite Ederson, because Ederson is top class. He's, if the standard is you need to be a ball-playing goalkeeper, Ederson is the standard. He's the best there is. So hopefully he can, reach heights like that, but who knows if he's ever going to be that good. Again, elsewhere, like I said, Diogo Costa, that's the other tweet I saw. Echeverri will train on Thursday, but this is the real bigger, more important probably tweet that most people want to see. The entourage of 7 players have been informed by the club to find an exit in the first days of the summer transfer market. Grealish, De Bruyne, Silva, John Stones, Kovacic, Gundogan, Ederson. That is 7 players, guys. 7 players could be out the door, or at least maybe pushed out the door, seemingly. That's going to take a lot of replacing. We also are not going to be a club that's got this small squad anymore, seemingly. Pep he's realized, or at least come to the conclusion, that with all the games, all the fixtures we've got, which is pushing 60 games a year, you can't have 20 players. You can't have 19 players. You got to have a bigger squad. And, we don't need to be Chelsea where we have 45 players and, we've got 2 different sessions for strength and conditioning because they can't fit everyone in the gym, if you remember that from the summer. But definitely the squad size needs to be increased. And, if we're sending 7 out the door, we already bought 3 first teamers in January. 1 went, so we're +2 there. Echeverri makes that +3. Maybe 7 out and 6 come in, something like that. It would be a pretty active window, pretty exciting. And the big names, like we always talk about, is Florian Wirtz, it's Cambiasso, it's Diogo Costa. There's a lot of big name players, and these are high quality first team players. These are not, for the most part, squad players, aside from maybe Kovacic and Gundogan. The rest are high quality, and they need to be replaced with premium players. That's just how it is. So I'm going to take a look at some of these players that we're being linked with and figure out who they all are, and maybe get a scouting report done and then put them together in a little video coming up. But again, that is my live stream for today. Nice and short, to the point. happy to be back on YouTube. Again, appreciate all the likes I've been getting and the subs. Of course, any more will be welcome. Next goal, 100 subs. That's what we're going for, 100 subs. I'll be back. No watch along Wednesday, but I will do one this Saturday. But again, I'll be back tomorrow. Do another live stream with any more news that drops. So appreciate it. City till we die. Just guys, remember,